Yes, guys, welcome back to DR Sports from the home of the Premier League champions. Yes, you join me live. Well, not live, pre-recorded, but you join me nonetheless from my balcony in my flat overlooking the city of champions right now, Liverpool, of course. But forget all of that. Smash that like button, get your comments in because this video is a big one, right? This is a massive, massive news story that's rumbled on, hasn't it, throughout the summer. And I'm sure it will go into right up till the transfer deadline on September the 1st. But the news last night was that Alexander Isak, who was in the team of the year, the PFA team of the year, alongside Matt Sells in goal, William Saliba, who's gone right back in this team, even though Virgil van Dijk and Gabriel Magalhaes are in the team. I thought it was a little bit harsh on Einar from Nottingham Forest not to actually have him as the right back. But they've just gone for 3 centre-backs and Milos Kerkez, who got in at Bournemouth last summer and obviously was in the team of the year. Ryan Gravenberch, Declan Rice and Alexis McAllister, Mohamed Salah, Chris Wood and Alexander Isak are all in the team. And I have to say, big up to Cecil last night, who was working for the PFA, who was on the red carpet, interviewing all the players. Was getting a little bit too close to Virgil van Dijk for my liking. Right? You can't touch him, Cess. But big him up nonetheless. That's my guy. And whilst all this was going on in Manchester, Mr. Alexander Isak thought it would be the perfect opportunity to put out a statement. And this is the first time we have heard from the Swedish striker this summer on his future, right? And if you actually look at his statement first, it's unbelievable, guys. Let me just read it back to you. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to my teammates and everyone at Newcastle who supported me along the way. I'm not at the ceremony tonight, obviously. With everything going on, it didn't feel right to be there. I've kept quiet for a long time whilst others have spoken. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though they don't know it reflects what really was said and agreed, the key word, agreed, behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made and the club has known my position for a long time. How long is that time? To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship cannot continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is in the best interest of everyone, not just myself. Wow. Wow. How do you react to that? Newcastle fans, Liverpool fans in the chat, you know, the Newcastle fans are saying, right, that's it. It's done. This is over. He's staying. And then Newcastle came out with a statement as well, which fired straight back at their striker in public. We are disappointed to have been alerted to a social media post by Alexander Isak this evening. We are clear in response that Alex remains under contract and no commitment has ever been made by a club official that Alex can leave Newcastle this summer. They go on to say that we want to keep our best players, but we also understand players have their own wishes and we listen to their views. As explained to Alex and his agent, we must always take into consideration, and this is the part I respect about Newcastle, and it's the fans first, it's the club first. They're reminding him, you are not bigger than Newcastle United Football Club. They say, as explained to Alex and his agents, we must always take into consideration the best interests of Newcastle United, the team, and our fans in all decisions, and we have been clear that the conditions of a sale this summer have not transpired. The key line for Liverpool fans to now hear, we do not foresee those conditions being met. This is a proud football club with proud traditions, and we strive to retain our family feel. Alex remains part of our family, another key bit coming up, and he will be welcomed back after all this, when he is ready to rejoin his teammates. The key part for me in this statement, for those of a Liverpool persuasion, for those Liverpool fans, if you're reading that, is the part where they say, we do not foresee those conditions being met. For me, you're leaving the door open for those conditions to be met eventually by Liverpool. We know all along. And obviously, after the £110 million bid, the low ball, the disgrace of an offer, according to Newcastle fans, we understand that that was made. We also understood at the time that Liverpool would not be coming in to make another offer. Let's not forget that still was a British transfer record. And there's a lot of Newcastle fans saying Liverpool are a disgrace for offering that. You know, he's forcing his way out of the club. Well, look at Wissa. Right, Wiss is doing the same to get over to Newcastle. So the thing is, in football, every single club, every single fan, every single player is a hypocrite. Once you understand that in the sport, these things don't necessarily upset you, surprise you, or make you feel any type of way because everyone's a hypocrite, right? But it's just groundbreaking. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this in the Premier League before. To see a statement go out like that on an Instagram story from Alexander Isak whilst the PFA Awards are going on in Manchester down the road. But then for Newcastle to be alerted to that, someone's phone has been pinging off. The social media guy at Newcastle, his phone's been pinging off, get on this statement. There's almost been an emergency meeting, between the higher ups at Newcastle, and they've put out their retaliation to Alexander Isak's statement, which I get. It's a fair statement from Newcastle. They've had to react to this. They've been forced to react to this statement by Alexander Isak. But I've just never seen anything like it. So if you're a Newcastle fan, you must be happy, I guess, because, in their words, that's it. They do not foresee these being met, these conditions. But to me, as a Liverpool fan, that's saying, veiled in a veiled way, come and match the valuation and then we'll sell him, right? I just can't believe this has all been played out in public like it has done. It's unbelievable, really, when you look at, how long this has now been going on for, between Alexander Isak, his agent, between Liverpool making that bid. And it's now got to the stage where Newcastle are saying he will be welcomed back when he is ready. Two questions are, will he be welcomed back with open arms by the players and the fans? And the second question is, when will he be ready? Because I guarantee it won't be before this Liverpool game on Monday night at St James's Park, by the way, which makes it even more mind-blowing. And then, of course, I tweeted yesterday, when does this re-blow up? Is it Tuesday? Is it Wednesday after Liverpool play Newcastle next week? In his head, he is never playing for Newcastle ever again. But they've put out a statement saying he will be welcomed back. So who do you believe? And will Liverpool come in for another bid? Will they make another bid for Alexander Isak? And will it be before or after we play Newcastle at St James's Park? The atmosphere for that is going to be unbelievable, by the way. I'm actually a bit worried for my own safety. No, I'll be fine. I just don't see where this one ends, people. They've pushed and pushed and pushed Alex and his representatives to get out of that football club. But as you can see, Newcastle standing on business, right? They're saying, you think you can just walk out the door, mate? You signed a 6-year deal. You've got 3 years left and you've not even put a release clause in that. You can't just throw your toys out the pram just because you want to leave and you don't want to train. Damn. But they also need to find a replacement, because if I was a Newcastle fan, which I'm not, but if I was, I'd be saying, listen, you're not bigger than the club. You don't want to be here. Get him out. But they're also having such difficulty replacing him. Speaking of other players leaving the Premier League, well, he would be staying in the Premier League if he joined Liverpool, but you know what I mean. Leon Bailey, after 4 years at Aston Villa, joins AS Roma on loan. Bit of a surprising one, to be honest, in terms of that strength and depth in that Villa squad. I thought he would have stayed, but it's a good move for Roma nonetheless. And don't forget, we'll have more in our live at 5 transfer show on DR Sports. And I'm sure it's going to be an absolute belter. And I'm sure Mr. Alexander Isak's name will be getting brought up. But just to round off the video, the PFA Awards were last night. 5 Liverpool players in the team. Virgil van Dijk, Milos Kerkez, Gravenberch, McAllister and Mohamed Salah, who now has 3 more than any other player in history. So he's a history maker. But then whilst all that was going on, Alexander Isak puts out this statement to which Newcastle firmly reply. And now it's just, I don't know what happens now, right? Liverpool fans, do Liverpool get Alexander Isak? Newcastle fans, do you still want him? Does he leave? For how much? And if you're a neutral in this, I think you just sit back and enjoy the drama. But anyway, I've been Alex. This has been DR Sports, coming to you from the home of the champions, Liverpool, right? In the city centre. Smash that like button, get your comments in, and join us live at 5 with more transfer updates. And then, of course, we'll be back in the studio, all of us, for 12:30 tomorrow for the weekend preview show. They're coming around quick already. Hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.